Welcome to our amazing agents and investors nationwide. Today is Thursday, August 14th, 2025, and this is All the Leads Mastermind Podcast number 541. Jim, I don't have anything to open with. I know we're open mic today. We want your successes, your questions. We have a reward for the best win of the week. What else would you like to open with, Tim?
Well, you're tired, you're poor, you're huddled, massive, learning to breathe free, something like that will be patriotic today.
Yeah,
No,
I've
I
heard that
don't have anything particular. This is at least once a month, we're going to literally do exactly this, which is not have an organized presentation and give you folks the opportunity to ask your questions. And if there's anything we can help you with, we'll be glad to do that. We'd like to hear about what's going on in your business, anything going on in your marketplace that you would like to make the world aware of. And, this is where we all learn from each other. So that's kind of the way it works. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see the little heart icon. And if you click on that, you'll see a line of text. I'm telling you what it is on mine. You'll see a line of text that says raise hand. If you click on that, a little hand will come up just like it did on my screen. And that will let us know that you want us to call on you. And we'll be happy to talk with you. The only thing I would ask is that you please not wait until the end of the call to do that, because invariably we're kind of at the very end and waiting on things to move forward. So please, if you got some questions, feel free to jump in and we'll be happy to work with you. Other than that, I think we're cooking. With that, I will throw the floor open to anyone who has anything to offer. If you have a question, want to talk to us about how it's going, that would be great. If you'd like to have us help you with anything, we're here. Don't all jump at once. This could be a very short call.
I was going to throw out there, Tim, that we always like to get a report how things are going in everybody's market. I know indications are that we may actually start getting some interest rate reductions next month. So just curious how you guys think that'll affect the market. I mean, it's not going to go down a lot, but just changing direction. Do you foresee that that's going to get people to take action? And it's kind of interesting. I saw something recently, just last a week or so ago, that almost exactly 50% of the country had said prices were up this year, and 50% they were down. Now, in both cases, it wasn't dramatic, but it's kind of interesting that this market seems to be regional, and it seems to be different in different parts of the country. I know we've talked before. My wife does short sales, and I mean, she did 2 last year. Now she's doing about 8 or 10 a month. So some areas of the country, same thing. She's seeing that the prices haven't gone up and people are upside down. Other areas, even if they get way behind in their payments, there's plenty of equity. So I just want to throw that out there as a conversation starter.
Yeah, one of the things, Jim, about that I think is interesting is that, like you said, it is geographic in some respects, even down to, within states. If you look at our state, which is very, tall and thin by comparison, I guess, to maybe some other states, and, down by you, the condo market has kind of gotten soft and, has been kind of challenging. And in my market here in Central Florida, new construction is through the roof. They can't build them fast enough. We call them, inflatable apartments and inflatable developments. It's like 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 months go by and drive down a street you haven't been down before, and there's a whole new bunch of buildings. So it's boom time here. In other markets, new construction's down, and it just depends on where you are. And a lot of that, apparently, the economists are saying, goes back to even before COVID, that the ones that were trending down before COVID are the ones that are, kind of slower now, and the other way around. If they were doing well before COVID, they're doing well now. It's kind of pent up demand. So that's a theory, at least. I don't know if you read into that or not.
Yeah, to follow up on that, Tim, I thought it was fascinating. Maybe a month or so ago, I saw a couple articles that the highest foreclosure rate in the nation is Lakeland, Florida. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
and I know you have to emphasize rate because it's a relatively small town. So, but based on the number of properties, they have the most in foreclosure of anywhere in the country. And I'm not exactly sure why that is, but kind of interesting. That surprised me.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. And of course, I guess it has. I know the one thing about that, you talk about inflatable developments. That's one of the marketplaces that I'll tell you is that got kind of the same thing when my kids were playing soccer and all that. We used to go over there for soccer tournaments, and invariably, if we were playing one year, we go back the next year, and there'd be twice as many developments around the soccer field. Just like soccer fields have turned into breeding grounds for new people, and it's crazy like that. I I don't know. I don't know what to say, but I also know that when they moved there, a lot of it was supported by two specific industries, both of which shuttered. They closed, and that probably has a lot to do with what's happening in Lakeland.
Hmm.
I'd imagine
Interesting.
that's also, I think, where Publix headquarters is as well.
Mm,
But Publix is still, a big employer and growing, but the other two kind of went by the wayside.
sure.
Bruce Hill, how you doing, buddy? You live there,
Give me a
friend?
second. I'm alive. Yeah, I'm running a little bit late in here and I'm trying to find my background. New
Oh,
computer and all. I didn't move it over, so we're sorting that out. Things are really good. Just been doing some coaching this morning, and I guess we're in the afternoon now. Moving some folks along. Things in probate mastery land are doing awesome. How are
good.
things in ATL land?
Are you still beating people up on the jujitsu mat?
Yeah, I'm going tonight, and I am not beating anyone up. I am getting beat up 2 years in, and I don't know if I'm ever going to beat anybody up.
Well, you look good doing it.
Well, I'm
Hey, Bruce.
45, and they're all 20, so I guess I could. There's something to say for that.
Hey, Bruce. I had a question from an old new sub this month. Someone who had been with us for years, took a year off and came back and said he's committed to actually do what we tell him this time and,
Yeah.
follow the program. Better than he has in the past, but extremely positive attitude. But he
Okay.
said way back when I got certified, probate certified specialist through our old friend and partner who's not
Yeah.
around anymore, Chad.
Yeah.
And he said, should I take Bruce's also? How are they different? And, is my old certification good?
Yeah.
And should I retake Bruce's also? What
Yeah.
would
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that's a really good question. So, some people probably have had that question themselves for a little while. Other people have no clue what Jim's talking about. Okay, so this is going to be good for everyone. I took Probate Mastery over a little over 2 years ago. It's a certification program. There's like 20 hours of training inside, on-demand training inside of the program itself. It's kind of covers the fundamentals of how to navigate through probate, what your clients are going through, the law stuff. Then it moves into business planning, like a big long session with a bunch of different lessons on planning your business and what are you going to offer and who do you need relationships with. And then we move into what to say. So, what to say on the phone, what to say to attorneys, what to say on appointments, how to get deals signed. Um, at the end of that, there's a certification. And what was happening is I had Chad's original version because Chad had it running for several years. I had Chad's original version, um, and I was kind of giving people two different versions when they signed up. There was my version, there was Chad's version. Um, Recently, we've kind of migrated the two together. So anyone that takes Probate Mastery now is going to get lessons that were Chad's original lessons, and then my lessons where maybe I have a different opinion or a different way of doing things, or maybe it's something that we've developed since he stepped out of production and out of training. There's a lot in there that we developed. So anybody that gets Mastery and anyone that had it before, you currently go into the system and you see a mix of training from me and Chad. It's just a mix. Now, my individual course is called Probate Mastery 2.0, and it's exclusively with a coaching program. So it comes with a group coaching program. You get that and multiple weekly workshops and role play sessions. So that the only way to get me only is to move into that small group coaching program.
And Bruce, if I could, I don't want to flatter you too much, but I know you have an ego problem, but
Flatter me. Yeah. Yeah.
I was a coach for Mike Ferry for nearly 10 years. My wife was also. Been through a lot of different coaching programs, and you could not be, not that that was bad, but it was like, say these magic words and you'll be successful. And I always believed that it was the confidence that knowing what to say made people successful, wasn't necessarily the words.
Mhm.
But what I find very unique about your coaching is it's not, you'll supply them with multiple scripts, but you don't say, here is the script that you should say. It's more about asking good questions and inflection points in the conversation and providing value. So you give that script as a crutch,
Mhm.
but I think you kind of tell people, once you're walking on your own, stop using it. You're far less scripted than any coach I've ever seen. Would you say that's
Yeah.
accurate?
So I
Yeah.
actually just yesterday recorded a bunch of videos that are going into the original Probate Mastery, the combination course, and they were working through how I create my conversation points, and I started with a script, but I would not script out an entire conversation. I don't know where that call is going to go. So I start with a script, like I might start with a 30-second opening. And then I just, on a camera or on audio recording, I read that opening and then I go back and I listen to it. And I go, that's confusing, that's clear, it's too long, it's too short, whatever the case is. And I refine from there and I make my refinement. And once I have the script down the way that I like it, then I go through and I read it again, either on camera or on audio recording. Key is I want to see or hear myself. But this time I'm going to read it word for word and I'm going to put some body language into it because your body language is going to transfer through when you're talking to people. And so I may be reading a script, but I might lean to the side and I might use my hands and I might go. So really what I do is I help you get from kind of where you are to where you want to be. And I put that body language in and I like to see this I like to do on camera if I can, like a Zoom recording. And I like to see what I'm doing with my hands and my body because again, when you start to put that emotion and start to put that inflection in, it's going to come through. Now, so far, I'm reading a script. I don't want to read a script. All I'm really doing is I'm kind of internalizing the idea, the message. I'm getting my body lined up with with the words that I want to say. And once I have that down and I can give some good emphasis and I can flow through the conversation, changing my tone and moving my hands around, things like that, then I'm gonna leave the script behind, an audio recording only, deliver the idea behind that 30-second bit that I just kind of practiced with the script, deliver that idea repetitively, probably 5 or 6 or 7 times until I get multiple really good explanations of what I'm calling for, back to back to back, short. Now, none of them are going to sound the exact same. None of them are going to use the same words. But now all of a sudden I've internalized it. I can deliver it. It sounds good. It sounds conversational. They have no idea that I'm saying basically the same thing every time. That's how I built the majority of my scripts. And I want to do that for an opening. I want to do that for my USP. I want to do that for different questions that they might ask and my responses. And then I want to do that with my questions. Most importantly, I want to do that with several different questions that I like to mix into calls. And I don't know if that question is going to go in at minute 3 or minute 5 or minute 20. I don't know. But I do know that when it fits, I've got the perfect question that's phrased the right way. So I kind of do that with several different parts of a call, and it's proven to be really successful.
Hey, I wanted to tell everybody, unless you want Bruce and I, because we could go all day with this. I want to add one thing, but unless you want to listen to us talk all day, raise your hand and contribute, guys. Ask questions. You triggered a memory for me in our coaching. The coaches were not allowed to have a chair. We had to stand while we were coaching, and we used to tell our clients, stand when you're prospecting. We used to get so much blowback. This was way before Zoom. They can't see us. Why do I need to stand? And we'd say, record yourself, standing and sitting, and just listen to the difference in the energy level. It's the same thing you're talking about with your hand movements. There's a
Big time.
significant difference. Yeah.
If I want to convey a message and I want to sound relaxed and calm and no pressure to the prospect that I'm talking to, I'm not going to stand. I'm going to sit and I'm going to lean over on the arm and I'm going to kind of put my hand up here and I'm going to go, kind of really what I do is kind of basic. And I'm essentially here to kind of help navigate through a probate process. And that the act of leaning into an arm of a chair and just kind of relaxing myself takes my sales temperament way down and makes the prospect feel a lot more comfortable. And I don't do that through the whole call, but I do that at the specific point where I'm pitching the service. And sometimes I'll stand up, sometimes I walk around, sometimes I'm using my hands. But I think it's important that you kind of train your body to communicate with more than just the words that you're saying.
Yeah, there was an old course NLP, which, I enjoyed. I took that several times. I don't believe it completely that that stressed more. It was just the words, but an old axiom that was really true. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Well, both are important, but people perceive instantly how you're saying something. It takes them a while to digest what you're saying. So if you're saying something correctly, that they're not threatened and they're listening, then they're going to understand what you say. If you say the smartest thing in the world with an upswing, or sounding annoyed, you're done. They're not listening. So it doesn't matter what you say.
Yep.
Is it interesting? Yep.
Yep. I
right.
learned, and I know Tim probably is like, "Hey, I gotta get control of the call." I learned something really big. So Eileen, when I got into jujitsu a couple of years ago, she called me and she was like, "Hey, I've been doing it for a while as well. So I want to recognize that even though I'm the one that talks about it, she'd probably dominate me on the mat." So, all right, I learned that you're not going in and training and learning things when you're practicing a martial art. You're not learning like this is what happens when you shake hands and the ref says start, fight. Okay. They don't always do this move. And you don't always respond with this move, and they don't always respond. It's not choreographed, and a conversation is not choreographed. But what happens is you go in and you learn individual tiny little techniques, and you get really good at that individual technique. And it may or may not come up when you're sparring. It really might not come up, but when it does, you go, I know this one. And so the art of being really good in a conversation with a prospect is learning tiny little techniques. And those tiny little techniques are kind of how you generally open and how you might talk about this particular topic or that topic, or how you might ask that question. And do I know if it's going to come up on any individual call? No. But when it does, and I find myself in that part of a call, I'm like, ha, I know this, and I'm just going to roll out what I've already practiced.
Perfect. Tim will give you control back of the call. It's like outer limits. We now control.
Sorry, Tim.
That's because you guys ran out of things to say. That's pretty much how that works.
No, we didn't run out.
No, we can go. They might be tired of listening.
I think it's important to know, when we first started, we were very kind of anti-script, and for a good reason. We don't want it to come off, and don't want you to come off as a scripted, reading a piece of paper. That's the worst thing in the world. And, that's an instant hang up for most people anyway. I think I'm going to throw something in to think about a little bit, and that is that today, invariably,
I think we're losing Tim.
Tim, we lost you for a second. The last thing we heard was today.
He's still gone.
All right. While we wait for Tim, I want to welcome our newest affiliate, Colin Jacobs. Colin, you're an old pro. If you want to, and his associates are on the call. If you have anything to say, we'd love to hear it. Raise your hand. Tim, are you back?
I don't know. Am I?
You're back. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
That's weird. Yeah, we replaced all of our networking hardware, and things have been working swell until today. Anyway, all I was going to say is that these days, we get the whole point behind an AI agent that I'll talk a little about the trials and tribulations of doing that. We've been working through getting that set up for ourselves because one of the things that we know is that for sure when someone has filled out a lead form or whatever online, they're there. They're behind. They're sitting looking at whatever they got online with, whether it's their phone or their computer or whatever. And so we've been moving pretty quickly to throw some AI at that. So at least we try to contact them immediately when they fill out the form. And it's increased our contact ratio a good bit. We're talking to more people. But, 6 months, they really have a conversation. You can't hear me? Are you laughing, Bruce?
We lost you for about 10 seconds. After go back to go back. You're okay. Most of the time you're okay, Tim. Go ahead. Try again.
Nope.
Nope.
All right.
All right. Well, our chief technical officer here and CEO is having technical problems. So you're gone again.
I'm gonna log off and log back in.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Who else? Any of the other coaches have anything you want to throw our way? Steve, Aline, Bill?
Sure.
Go ahead. Thank you, Bill. Go ahead.
So the thing I just want to comment on is that depending on your area, and you really need to know your numbers. Like in Marin County, you have 361 foreclosures, you have 1,261 houses on the market. Normally foreclosures only about 190 to 100. So when you know your numbers, you kind of know where to look. The greatest thing about probate and divorce is there's always a need, right? I love that expression, the 4 Ds, right? Divorce, death, diapers, and diamonds, right? I just love that. But if you know your market and you know the areas that have gone down, I think short sales are gonna come back. And I just think you have to continue looking for the sellers that have needs, right? Need to sell. Not that I want to sell, right? When I talk to a client, let's say they're 70 years old, if I'm feeling that they're not going to sell, they just kind of want to stick it on the market, then I kind of plan my marketing in that way because I'm not spending a lot of money on it, right? But if they have to sell, like they say they're going to downsize and they've already picked their place and they have a time frame, then I accommodate that. But again, there's avenues that I think people are not looking at. I'm always shocked at wholesalers, right? They don't look at the abatements, they don't look at the tax liens, they don't look at the IRS liens. In California, if you're 3 years late on your property taxes, assuming the lender lets you get that late, you should be all over those leads. And I think that's where your title company comes in, all the leads comes in, and I just think that uh, like for I'm with a new company, there's a lot of doom and gloom. They're all complaining interest rates are too high. Well, all I feel when they have all that doom and gloom is there's nothing but opportunity here. But you've got to go look for it. I have the calls tomorrow with the young man, and I'm really hoping that you can pick out there's opportunities, go find them. And the scripts are simple as, hi, my name's Bill, my clients are looking in the area, or don't use that, or hey, I noticed you might be having some trouble with your property, I was wondering if I might help. I mean, there's no set script for this. That's what just blows me away. The set is pick up the phone and make the call.
Mm-hmm.
Tim is back. Should we try again, Timothy?
I'm afraid to talk.
Well, go ahead. We'll tolerate it. You sound
You'll
good
tolerate
now. Yeah.
Yeah. If it goes out again, I'm going to probably log off for the day and figure out what my problem was. But all I was getting at is that even with AI to now, the whole AI, the whole point and what makes AI good is that doesn't sound scripted, that it's coming back to you with, good answers and responsive answers to what you're saying. And 6 months ago, when we first started doing it, it was just exciting that, you could give it a bunch of things that it could randomly kind of talk to. And maybe 6 months is probably not true, more than a year. But as we've, investigated, the more more lifelike it is, the more unscripted it is. And it's learning more and more and more. And ours, the interesting thing about it is I always try to trip it up and ask it crazy questions. It's learning. So things that I ask it that are beyond its understanding when we first start, because we limited it, it is beginning to learn, and it's learned some stuff. I asked it something the other day and it gave me some interesting economic facts that I'm like, where'd you get that? We never told you that. So that's kind of the whole point, is that it's just like everything that's out there, people want to talk to somebody that's having a conversation with them. And as long as you can, get some icebreaker questions going and you're comfortable, the rest of it, it's a conversation. Make a friend, have a conversation. That's what's important. That was all I was going to say about that. And I guess I got all that out without hanging up. So that was good. Folks, we gotta get some participation going here. Let's, raise your hand and let's hear about what's going on in your marketplace. What are you guys doing? What kind of responses are you hearing back from anybody? Anything like that, you're hearing, any interesting data that you've got to offer? How are things looking in your market? Let's get your hands up there. Click on the react button and let's hear your wonderful voices.
Hey, Tim, while we wait for somebody live, there are a couple of people on social media, on other channels other than Zoom, that have typed in a couple of questions. Derek Hayes is asking, is there a way to get a copy of today's Zoom call, as he missed most of it? All of our calls they're on all your podcast platforms. You can also just go to our website, and all our mastermind calls will be posted there. And Bruce, the second part of his question probably would be directed at you. He said he's looking for information that will help me get started when first talking with a potential client. Mm-hmm. Anything you want to comment there?
Yeah, I need to pick a date. We're about to put, I'm going to check the website. So I'm about to say something, and then I'm going to go check the website and see if I've given the correct link to be able to get this. So I've got a class under the training menu of alltheleads.com. So alltheleads.com, go to training. Whether you're a subscriber or not a subscriber, you should be able to see that. There's one short class called Closing 2 Probate Leads a Month. This is going to kind of apply to what Alvaro had asked, and also Derek. That's just a short kind of mini 10-minute training, the basic math on how I'm going to go about getting 2 deals a month at minimum. And then we've got a webinar called Probate Foundations. Takes about an hour and a half to get through. That's something that I only do live once every 3-4 weeks. I don't think that I have the next live date, but the recording is also available for those of you that are interested in that. So go to the training menu, look at that. I'm going to look, as soon as I'm done talking, I'm going to go look and make sure that I've given all the leads the correct link to be able to access that training. It's really good. It kind of gives you some basic scripts. Also in Probate Mastery, there are a lot of Probate Mastery's my certification course. There's just loads of different scripts and conversation approaches that you can use in that.
And Bruce, I get asked a lot, which course should you take first? And people are kind of surprised that Foundations is free. That's basically anybody can go. And how long is Foundations?
Oh, about an hour and a half, something like that. It's okay. 30,000 foot view. Touches on each of the core aspects, mainly focused on what you should do in your first month or so in the system. Anybody that's wants to get serious about probate, it's going to be Probate Mastery, the certification training, though.
Perfect.
Cool.
I know you're back. I don't think we've ever had a call where we haven't had at least a few people participate. Should we just start randomly calling on people?
Well, Alvaro has a great question, and I don't know when we want to get to that, but that's
Please. No,
really,
go ahead.
really good. Can you elaborate on the math behind the investment on your leads and the estimated return on investment? This is a good question because a lot of people are just going, hey, how much are the leads going to cost? And lead cost is definitely a piece of it, and that goes into the return on investment. But I want to figure out what my marketing and prospecting system needs to be to make sure that at minimum I had a 10x ROI at minimum. My general rule of thumb is I won't take on a lead system or a lead source unless I'm gonna hit an 8+ times ROI. And I believe that probate, and I know we're doing a lot of other leads. I don't mean to dominate with probate, but probate is pretty comfortably a 10x ROI or better, depending on what you're doing. So I put my lead cost in, I put my mail cost in, I put my cold caller cost in, I put my website cost in. All that stuff goes into how much does it cost to convert the average person off of my cold list. I don't know them, they don't know me, into my pipeline. Once I've had a dialogue and I believe that there's a sale coming, they are now in my pipeline. So for me, it costs somewhere around $12 a lead. Leads, websites, mail, cold caller, etc. Around $12 a lead to get someone off of that cold list into my pipeline where I'm going to be putting personalized attention into them. Once I'm putting personal attention into them because we've had a conversation and I'm marketing to them, I believe that they're going to sell a house. I'm going to spend probably 50 or $60 marketing to that person. I'm going to pile really good stuff on them. I'm going to call them frequently. I'm going to send them packages. I'm going to send them letters, postcards. I know that I have an average of about 6 months to separate myself from the pack. And that's what I intend to do is separate myself from the pack. And if you do a moderately good job of separating yourself from the pack with that pipeline, you're going to have at least a 10 times ROI, at least.
And Bruce, if you would, the biggest mistake you and I, every time I say this, you have a bigger mistake, and I can't remember what it is, but I had the biggest mistake that I see is people try it for a month or two, said it didn't work, and move on. What to achieve? I mean, you're lucky if you get any ROI the first month. Some people will. I mean,
Sure.
We've had people get 5 listings, but
Yeah.
Over what period of time is that 8x ROI generated for you typically?
Well, it's more than 8x. I just won't do a lead source if it's not an 8x or ROI.
Okay.
So probate should be at least a 10. And that could be a year. That could be up to a year. Most of the conversion is going to start to happen somewhere around month 6, month 7. That's where you're going to have kind of this swell of conversion. And then if you're still doing a good job of maintaining the ones that have not converted yet, by the time you hit a year, you will have captured the majority of those.
Perfect. Thank you.
So see, we've got 2 hands in the air, and I'll get to David and Colin in a second. Just one thing that I would point out here is that we always and Kerry, I see your hand is up as well. We always talk about building a pillar of your business, and that's a term that we started talking about. Well, I don't know, maybe a half dozen years ago, something like that, when we kind of got around to the fact that this takes time. It's not necessarily, just like Jim said, we've had people who've gotten on here and the first month they sent mail out and got instant responses back, and it was a responsive marketplace. Maybe it hadn't been worked before and whatever. It does happen. But the reality is we are all about training you and teaching you to build a pillar of your business by building a group, by building a network of people to work with you, getting your marketing together. And all this just takes time. That's what this all comes down to. It takes time to do these things. And, it's not going to happen overnight. That's why we call it a pillar. Every part of your business, you've got to treat it like a business, approach it correctly. And a lot of our training is designed specifically to help you do that. Colin, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. There you go. You're unmuted. Go ahead, bud.
Oh, hey, everybody. Thanks again, Jim. Been inspiration in how I imagine leads and what goes into the process, and not just looking at a lead as a lead, but actually going through it as a system. And Jim, since I've known you, which has been 10 plus years, coming from Mike Ferry and going through all that NLP training over the years with great coaches, and you being a great coach, I mean, I think that you guys do offer a very fair and substantial system that does give folks exactly what they're looking for, especially in this niche. And it's such an important niche coming up. And it's one of the reasons why I'm just letting, I guess you could say, people in my organization know about it. I mean, Alex is on the line right now, Zaid, and some other friends of mine who over the years have really done very well. But I think if we could kind of uncover the missing components that can really be the where all the fortune is, in business. So I just wanted to comment on that, sort of a unsolicited testimonial.
Thanks, man. That's great. And you've known Jim how long? Oh,
I feel a cut coming here. but go
Oh,
ahead.
there's a cut coming.
Oh, I'll just let it be then. My work is done here.
I think I've known Colin for about 10 years.
I was going
Okay,
to
go
say,
ahead. Go ahead, Tim. You had it prepared. Go ahead.
I'm just saying he still speaks to you. It's amazing.
I do. Okay, thank you.
Kerry, what's up, Kerry? Unmute there, please.
Hi, I'm relatively new on here. My name's Kerry Thompson. I've been in the business for going on 26 years. And I'm just kind of hopping on here. I guess I was led to be here. And I just wanted to share what's going on in my surrounding area. So I'm more in the Orange County, Inland Empire, California market. And our price points are $749 to $855. I usually, when I take a listing, try to get them to go about 10% down below list market value. I have 4 pillars that I work on. I'm on luxury homes, divorces. I have a couple of divorces right now that I'm working on, and those are just through my CRM. They're not even through any type of leads that I purchased, so I will need to know where I can maybe get some more divorces. I did bring a little package here with me. This is kind of what I drop off when I go, and it's all filled with a lot of assets in there. When I go on any type of listing, whether it's luxury or it's divorce, I kind of want to win before I arrive. I do not leave my CMA in there for them because that's something that if they don't like that price that I leave, I don't want that to be the challenge of me not being able to come back. But I leave information. Obviously, I go through the sales cycle of their personality type. So if they're a D like me, they probably don't want to go through my entire box. However, I'll leave it with them so they could go through and see what my marketing looks like, what's my methodology on my marketing strategy, because that's my offer proposition. And I separate myself as a community market leader. I'm also in biblical leadership right now. Just because I wanted to do something a little different than the way that I've been in leadership, and I've been in leadership for about 23 years. So that's a little bit about me and what I'm doing, my pillars, what's going on in our market. We do have average days on market right now are somewhere between, if you price the house outright, you're at about 38 days. If you price it out a little bit higher, you're looking at more 55 days, and it's about 6 weeks for a buyer to probably get into a property. I do a lot of educational videos that are part of my pillar on my YouTube channels. I'm building that out. I'm on social media. I do have a social media presence, and yeah, that's kind of a little bit who I am, why I'm here, and how I got in here. And I'm here to learn more. So I like to learn something new every single day.
Wow.
How long does it take to sell a house that you've priced 10% below market value?
So typically it'll go pretty fast if it's 10% below. So maybe 45 days.
Yeah.
We're looking at everything is sitting in our area for quite some time. So just depending on where the price is and what they're willing to do. But I do recommend them to be at least 10% below.
Yeah.
Is that a good
Kerry,
number for you guys?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
is that kind of a number where you guys are at? I don't know where all your markets are. So I'm, like I said, I'm relatively new into this group. I've been on one call prior to this, just being authentic. So yeah.
I think that's really going to depend on the market. I think in a market like yours, 10% is a good, because 10% is kind of indicative. If it takes 45 days, that's kind of indicative of maybe you're not below market, but you're 10% below where the market was. So that is very telling of what's happening in your market. It sounds like it's kind of really swollen in inventory recently.
500 listed homes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sitting.
Is that in Orange County or basically a bigger circle?
So it's more in the IE Inland Empire. We'll call it Riverside, San Bernardino County,
Mhm.
Right,
or so. And I also do commercial, which is in my Orange County office. So
right.
I have an Orange County office that I'm out there and I work through, and then I have, which I do commercial for pastors and things and whatnot. And so, yeah, I probably went a little bit, and I'm not bringing religion into this. It's whatever it is. It's just I'm just saying that.
Mhm.
Kind of where I'm at with my business and where I'm at, so you guys can get to know me a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. And I always appreciate it when you stand up for the things that matter to you. That's what's important.
Yeah.
And you obviously are doing that and you're serious about this. And I love the fact that you refer to it as a pillar. A couple of things I'll take off on what you said. And Tito, I think this will answer your question as well that you asked in the chat. Tito would ask if we knew any people that provided leads. I think sort of yes, that'd be a reasonable answer to say yes. And to you as well, Kerry, we also provide divorce as well. So if you're interested, please talk to one of our salespeople. Go to our website. We'd love to talk with you. We're not a pressure sales company. We make things affordable for people, work within budgets, and do the things we need to do. But Tito, I think you need to be aware that you're on here, and we're the kind of the number one provider in the country for certainly probate and divorce and all of that. One other thing, kind of particularly important to know about our divorce leads, is we only offer divorce leads on filing. We don't offer them on settlement. A lot of people will sell divorce leads, and they're basically looking at court judgments. We don't do that. We go in and we literally get them on filing, and those are the only counties that we sell them in, which makes it important because there you've got at least the opportunity for two transactions, because you're dealing with two different people's lives. And at that point, you have the ability to build great relationships to get that done. So Tito, to answer your question, say the same thing to you. Contact us at alltheleads.com. There you go. I'm answering the question. All the
And
leads.
Tim, don't forget late mortgage also, if you want to touch on that. Just, you said divorce and probate, but we've had extraordinary
I'll get
success with
that.
it. Oh, okay.
Did you say
Sorry.
alltheleads.com?
Right. Alltheleads.com. Kerry, how did you come to get on this call?
I don't know. Somebody invited me, I guess. I don't know. And the Lord dropped me in somewhere, and it's where I
That's
ended
good.
up. This is where I ended up.
He picked a
Is
good
that
day to do
okay?
that. He
Is that
picked a
okay?
great day to do that. He picked a great day to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Is that okay that I'm here?
It's okay. We're loving having you here.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so
Hey,
much.
Tim, so I don't interrupt you again. Kerry, I just wanted to compliment you on, you're doing so many things right, but you are a perfect example of what Bill had just said, know your numbers. I doubt there's anybody else in your market that knows knows the numbers of what's going on as well as you. And when you know them, you know where to focus.
Yeah.
And when you are able to quote them to people, even if they don't know what you're talking about, they know you know what you're talking about. It inspires a lot of confidence. So great
Thank
job with
you.
that.
Thank
You're
you for
very
that. I
welcome.
appreciate that. I love being here too. You guys seem like a great group of guys, and I look like I'm the only female in here. Where's everybody? I saw somebody else a little earlier.
We have a
Shouldn't
lead,
be.
Coach Aline, wave at her. We have a female
Oh,
coach.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you being here. David, buddy, you've been waiting patiently and bounced off and came back. Unmute yourself there, my friend.
Okay. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for having me. I just want to say, after I heard Kerry's share, I was going to hit the leave button because, and thank you for sharing your faith. It's refreshing to hear it. I am brand new. I'm in New York City. I joined Corcoran a few months ago, and I've never done real estate in my life. I'm embarking on a new career. It's a little scary. I do rentals as well as trying to break into the sales market. I just went through some extensive training with Corcoran, and I'm a 60-year-old father of a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. So,
Sorry.
and if you don't close, you don't eat. And I got to make something happen. I joined a team, and with a guy that's been in the business for a while, and I kind of just work his open houses, and obviously 20 people show up and only one person, gets the apartment if it's a rental, and I'm getting sales leads too now. But I get the rest of the people and I try to build some relationship with them. And I've been fortunate enough to close, 4 or 5 nice rental deals, since I've been on board. So, people have told me, I have some potential. I'm running around the office looking over people's shoulders to see who's doing what. And I saw a broker sending out mailings to probate leads. And he actually gave me the name of he's like, hey, all the leads. I also know another broker who goes to a probate court, and he looks up everything manually. And then he has to start seeing if there's property attached to it. He doesn't even know if there's property attached to it and starts cold calling. So here I am. I do not have a market report for you, unfortunately, but
Most people
I
don't.
I definitely, want to start working on, investing some money that I made in my last venture before real estate, and just try to, build my client base. And I'm a good people person, and I don't have any problem. I'm a good closer as long as I have something to close. So here I am, and just trying to learn about your services and try to pick up some nuggets from people like Kerry and anybody else that shares. And that's it, so I just wanted to get my hand up, and I'm
Hey,
new to
David.
real estate. Yeah.
David, what did you do before? What business were you in before?
I had a very extensive retail career where I had no experience whatsoever, got hired to do one thing, and next thing you know it, I was like a senior buyer and director of wholesale. I have a high school, education. I just kind of, figured out the business, and I did well with that, but it was a family business, so I hit the ceiling. They treated me like family, but they didn't pay me like family, and I left that and I went into staffing, and that was one of the hats I wore in my retail job. It was a small business, so you hired people for your department, and I really had a knack for hiring the right person and finding the right candidate. So I went into staffing, and I had some record-breaking years. And then my sweet spot was retail, restaurant, and hospitality. And then the pandemic hit. So that wasn't, I know everybody got hurt during the pandemic, but especially hospitality, restaurant, staffing, everything was shut down. I was fortunate enough to get involved with PPE, brokering PPE deals. I don't know how I stepped in that, but I did. And I closed a lot of big, the masks, the gloves, the hand sanitizer, stuff like that you couldn't get during the pandemic. I started brokering that stuff, and I got a Walmart deal, and that worked out really well. So I was able to, and then I got married and had a couple of kids in between.
Wow.
At my age, right? All my friends are grandfathers, and here I am, with a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. So, I took some of that. I talked to my wife. We know a lot of brokers, and they're like, man, you would do so well as in the real estate business. You should really get your license. And, honestly, I'm not like the best studier. I'm not really book smart. I said, if I pass this test on the first try, that's a sign from God that this is my new journey. And I heard it was harder. The New York one, I heard was like some lawyers said it was as hard as the bar exam. And 60% of the people don't pass on their first try here in New York, but I did. So I got my license, and I just I had an opportunity to join Corcoran and get on a team, and I did. So here I am.
Well,
And
cool.
yeah,
I think one thing that I would notice, and I was just I assumed what you said is sort of what I assumed. You were, whatever you were doing before, you were involved with a lot of people. It was obvious because you're all about building relationships. And
right.
I think that's the main thing that will stand you in great stead in your new career, and making sure
Mm,
you feed those kids is building those relationships, growing them stronger all the time. Once you get somebody, make sure that, you just continue to keep them in your sphere of influence, market to them constantly and all that. And as Kerry put it, it's a pillar, and you're going to build to
mhm.
that. Stick with us over some time here, and we're going to talk a good bit about that probably next week, or the week after. We're going to talk about team building and how to build a support team for your pillar of your business, all that sort of stuff. And if
Mhm.
we do direct mail, we print for you, we do that. That's part of it for you. We create websites for you. We provide, probate, pre-probate, divorce, and late mortgage payment leads for people all over the country. So you're at the right place to learn a lot, and you've got a great attitude. We look forward to working with you, bud.
Oh, thanks a lot. Let me just ask something real quick. So about these leads. So as I said, I know one luxury broker with Corcoran who has, I think his past three deals have come from probate leads. He's got a lot of like very high-end exclusive listings, and I just don't understand, exactly how it works. Like, you do leads for New York City, correct?
Sure.
Yeah.
All the boroughs.
Right. So when I purchase leads from you, these are people who are inheriting property. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Is somebody died and owned property
let
that,
me make it easy. Let me make it easy for you.
okay,
So,
thanks.
so it starts with the filing of probate in the court, and a personal representative is appointed. And once the personal representative is appointed and a document is filed, that's the point at which that becomes a lead for us. We take that data that we've gathered and we run it through about 32 steps to proof it out. We run it through the do not call registry. We run it through the deliverability data sources to make sure that any direct mail that you do is going to go to the right people. We do phone number skip tracing. We do address skip tracing. We give you the attorney's name. If the attorney is on the docket and on the filing, we
Mhm.
give that. But we're trying to focus you in the probate side specifically to contact the personal representative, because that's the person that can sell or list the property. So that's what
But
that's
all of these leads, there is property attached to it, right?
that information is available, and in most every market it's easily available, and we attach it to the lead, and you can add that to your leads to get it. It's not in our base lead, but it's an add-on to it, and most people get it. So yeah, I mean, you
Okay,
can certainly get them that way for sure.
right.
And then you're only marketing directly to the people that you want to market to because they have it. The one thing I would caution you against is not every not every lead is going to show that it has property in it. Some of them do that aren't listed. So that's why we do all the research that we do. You're not necessarily
Okay.
going to see it, and the docket's not going to ever tell you that, because it just gives you contact information. So we can
Mhm.
furnish anything you need to be successful. Okay?
That's one
I
of
got you.
the things that I see with a lot of places that say, "Hey, we're going to give you only leads that have property," is they're skipping tons of leads that have property. Potentially, the decedent moved in with a family member in their last months, and the address on file showing the family member, and you look and go, "Well, that wasn't their house." Skip. Maybe they moved to a
Right.
nursing home. Well, that's not their house. Skip. At least 70%, in most markets, 70% of probate filings have real estate directly connected.
And that's whether it shows up or not. Like Bruce said, that's whether it is readily apparent or not. So, you know, just because it doesn't look like it, that's the whole point in contacting the people. Okay. Well, great. And we look forward to working with you, David. And I appreciate that. Folks, we're at the top of the hour. That got started kind of slowly and then took off really well. Appreciate everybody being here today. If anybody got one last question, we'll look for one other hand to pop up. And if not, Mr. Jimmy, I think it's time for you to do your thing, buddy.
All right. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. I want to particularly thank Bruce, Tim, Bill, Colin, David, and Kerry for actively participating. And I want to challenge each of you, like I always do, just take one idea that inspired you on this call, go out and put it into practice, and please come back next Thursday and share the results with the group. Have a great week, everybody. See you same time next Thursday. Take care.